Hello and welcome to the first programme of a new series called Puma Rally World. Over the next 6 weeks we'll be taking a look at the new Ford Puma Rally Championship. And it's not just clubby events that cars will be competing in, it's internationals all the way, from the tarmac of Ireland and Belgium to the gravel of Scotland. Each week we'll also be running a special feature called the Rally Superstars, and we were looking at great cars such as the Audi Quattro, the Opel Manta, and great drivers such as Ari Vatanen and the McRaes. The first car featured is the sensational Audi Quattro. The first round of the championship was the Ordnance Survey Rally of the Lakes in Killarney, Southern Ireland. But before that there was a launch to go to, where we got the chance to meet the people behind the series and see a championship prepared Puma in action for the first time. The cars certainly looked the part, and I was lucky enough to get the chance to be one of the first to try one. It's quite a neat little car, 1.4 litre engine, 150 horsepower, 6-speed gearbox, and this very neat little fly-off handbrake. Unusual position, that's going to take some getting used to. Anyway, let's see what the car goes like. The Puma starts with a reassuring roar, and the clunk into first gear is proof that this is a real rally car. Despite the fact that I have never driven a left-hand drive rally car before and haven't driven a front-wheel drive car since 1995, the Puma still felt fantastic, superbly squat and stable. Although with much skinnier tyres than I'm used to, and with all the braking set to the back, it did have a tendency to lock up the rears a bit too easily for my liking. Although to be fair, I was driving the car with all the ability and finesse of the Sugar Plum Fairy. The car though was happy to rev its nuts off, and the gearbox felt very strong, but I also had a lot of trouble getting used to that unusual handbrake position, and after one embarrassing spin too many, I gave up my seat to someone who has a bit more idea than I do. Martin Rowe, the 1998 Mobil 1 British Rally Champion, was hanging around with nothing better to do, and once we'd stopped him laughing, he drove the car to see what it was capable of, and first he showed me how to do a handbrake turn in it. And then he had a bit of fun. How did he do that? Whilst Martin was showing off, we asked Championship Coordinator Liam O'Callaghan the rationale behind the new championship.
Basically last year when we were selling the car package, we found a lot of drivers would prefer something with a bit more power, a little bit quicker, more of an out-and-out racing car, you know. So hopefully the Puma will fill that gap in the market, and it also creates a very good link between Ka and Puma across the Ford range and for Ford, you know.
You're taking it around Europe a bit more than just in Ireland this time, though.
We are, yeah. We're the ultimate aim is to have a sort of mini European series, which takes in France, Belgium, UK, Ireland. We hope to have a snow rally if we can put it together, but it happened so late this year we weren't able to have one of those. But the idea really is to create a platform for young drivers, which will give them a good cross-section of events, surface types, and really educate them even more and let them hone their skills even more.
The superb facilities of the Rally School Island in Monaghan are perhaps not best suited to show off the full potential of the Puma, but it certainly gives you some idea of what it can do. And afterwards we asked Martin to tell us what he thought.
I'm just having a bit of a play with it and see how slippery it is, and it's quite difficult to get used to the old H-pattern style box. The last time I drove a H-pattern box was 1994. So back there I was thinking the engine's not picking up, but I was in third instead of first. And also, you naturally, for me, the handbrake's down here, so I go for the handbrake and it's all the way over there. So just little things that you get used to.
What about the power? It's only 1.4 of course.
Yeah, obviously it's a lot different to what I'm used to, but I mean, all I'm doing is
Having fun.
I mean, in a way, you've got all this power in the Megane, for example, but on a circuit like this, you can't really use it, so you're using the gearbox just as much as you would in this car, and it's easier in a way driving this car because you've got less power, so you've got less chance of just wheel spinning all over the place and losing traction. So with the Megane and more high powerful Formula 2 cars, you've got to work harder to get the grip, where this is a little bit more forgiving.
And so we come back to Killarney, where Simon Major and co-driver Mike Paines are trying to find out just how forgiving the Puma is with the early morning wake-up call, which is the 10 miles or so of Moll's Gap. Traditionally run as the first stage on both days of the Rally of the Lakes, its scenic splendour is not something that the rally crews get to appreciate. but as a test of driving, there's not much to beat it. Remarkably, for such a small-engined car, the crew managed to top 20 time. Even more amazing when you consider that most of it is actually uphill. But before they had even started the rally stage, we took the opportunity to talk to Simon and see what his thoughts were on the event.
Oh, we're really looking forward to it. The car's fantastic, goes very well. We did our first event a week ago, won a class by over 4 minutes and come 11th overall just by on a Metro 6R4. So it gives you some idea of the speed of the car. Pretty quick for a 1400.
And how come you're driving this one then?
Well, I'm driving this as a result of winning the British KA Championship last year, and it's a prize drive from Ford Racing.
Hell of a prize.
Yeah, I'd say. Yeah, I'm very pleased with it.
Dropping 14 seconds to Major was probably not what Derek Daly had in mind as he started the first stage of the championship. But despite a rear wing that made the car look even better than the others, that's what happened. With co-driver Jakes Kelly alongside him, he too was looking forward to the series.
It's a new championship. It's more power than I'm used to. Left-hand drive, so it's all new and exciting.
Have you driven this car much?
Had 2 outings in it. The first outing was really getting used to left-hand drive and the car. Second outing was more or less the car. I think I've got the swing of the left-hand drive.
And have you been at Moll's Gap before?
First time rallying last year.
Yes. It's something else though, so you're going to go up there left-hand drive and it's going to be raining. You're looking forward to that?
I look forward to a lot more if I'd wet tyres on.
Ian Chadwick's rally didn't start too well, as he lost time with a broken drive shaft. Still, it gave him the chance to get used to a car which he apparently didn't have a lot of experience in.
I haven't. The gap this morning is the first time I drove this car.
That sounds very exciting.
I'm sure it will be.
So we hope to see you later.
I hope to see myself later.
Despite the lack of numbers, the competition between Major and Daly was already proving pretty close, and they set the same time on stage 2, Mullah Hanish, with Daly then going just a few seconds quicker on stage 3, Carbonar. But then on stage 4, he lost a chunk of time for no apparent reason. There was frustration for them both though, as they went through Mullah Hanish for the second time. Both of them were delayed by a car stuck in the stage. Unfortunately for Major, this was to prove more costly than it was for Daly, as Daly, running behind on the road, was delayed by only 30 seconds to Major's minute, wiping away his entire class lead through no fault of his own on just one stage. Perhaps a little bit rattled by this, Major started to overdrive a little, losing enough time on the last few stages to put him just behind Daly at the end of the first day, although he didn't know that when we spoke to him.
We had a few near misses on that last stage there. It was a bit erratic, and that was my fault, I must admit, but yeah, we were trying. At the end of the day, Derek's catching us up now, and he's on home territory. So it's just a case of just trying to stay with him tomorrow and see if we can just get ahead.
Daly had settled down to be nice and smooth now, and with the 17th fastest time overall on stage 8, he had hauled the car up to 21st overall overnight, and we asked him how his day had been.
Super. It's got a lot better in the last few stages. We started off quite bad. We lost 21 seconds on the 3rd or 4th stage. We've been really losing time on most stages. I believe we're leading now by 18, I don't know, 10 seconds, 18 seconds we're leading anyway. So we had a bit of a slow start to the day.
Yeah, and you're looking forward to tomorrow then?
I think I'll go to bed now.
Ian Chadwick's problems had continued though. The crew had no intercom. So I suppose that they were a bit despondent at the end of the day. Not a bit of it.
We've had the best days rallying I've ever had in my life. We've had so much fun today. But a few problems with the car, right? But we just had so much fun. With no intercom at all hand signals all day. We've just had a time of our life.
And so at the end of the first day, it was Derek Daly and Jakes Kelly in the lead on 1 hour 14 minutes 17 seconds. Simon Major and Mike Paynes were second, just 16 seconds behind on 1 hour 14 minutes 33 seconds. Ian Chadwick and Hugh Giles brought up the rear on 1 hour 19 minutes and 12 seconds. Well, thanks for watching so far. Join us after the break to see if Derek Daly can get the better of Simon Major. Hello again. Let's go straight back to Killarney, where Derek Daly and Simon Major are about to do battle on the second day of the Killarney Rally of the Lakes. Derek Daly got an even more unexpected wake-up call when he went over the gap on Sunday morning, as he found the sky ahead of him full of Malcolm Wilson's helicopter. But worse was to come, as only a few stages later, whilst carrying no spare in order to save weight, the car had a right front puncture, and the crew ruined the front suspension trying to get out of the stage and lost 5 minutes into the bargain. Effectively, their challenge was over. Simon Major, meanwhile, was having his own moments of excitement, as our in-car camera shows. But at least he was having no other problems, and a couple of stage times hovering around the top 10 were dragging the car into the top 20 overall, and rising. As for Ian Chadwick, he had problems over Moll's Gap again, but the time loss was even greater than the first run over the stage, and he too was to plummet down the field, although he did keep going. At the final major service of the event, we asked Simon Major how he felt it was going.
No, we made a few minor alterations. The car's handling a lot better now. I feel much more comfortable in the car, and we were able to push on a lot faster today. So I was looking forward to it. I think we'd have been in good shape anyway.
Now, there's only been 3 cars running, but you've had a good day, so that must have made it all worthwhile.
Yeah, I don't think it really matters how many cars are running, because we've had such a good battle with Derek, and it's kept everyone interested in it. All the people out there all cheering us on, and obviously we've been pushing each other on, and it's just moved us up the leaderboard, and I think we've been setting some pretty impressive overall times, you know, for a 1400 car.
Derek Daly was a bit more reflective, but relishing the pleasure he was getting from driving the Puma.
They're amazing. I think we were in maybe 15th place, which it's on paper it's not possible to have a 150 brake horsepower car in 15th in an international rally.
Yeah.
You just
can't
can't
handle really well.
Oh, they're like go-karts.
Yeah,
It's the track, really, the width of the track.
Yeah.
It's virtually impossible to lose stability in it, but it's great in the wet as well.
Despite all their problems, Ian Chadwick and Hugh Giles were still smiling. And how are you two getting on? He's a Cork lad, you're a Bolton lad.
I loves him. I loves him. Oh, he's a great navigator. Yesterday was so much fun though with all the hand signals because we had no intercom. Brilliant time. We had a brilliant time.
Hairpin and hand signals like this. Just wave the hand, it's throwing it. Oh yeah, it was. The only thing, like, we lost so much time under braking. You know, let's say you weren't even called distance or anything. You're just getting the calls out with the hands. So lost brake time there, and being quite honest, like Fury now, which was stage 14. That's the first proper stage, as far as I'd be concerned. And we're coming on, getting there. It's going to be a lot of time, but we're going to get on the pace definitely.
So all Simon Major had to do was cruise the last 3 stages home to the finish. But he hadn't counted on the car losing all but second gear. He might have thought it was all over, but back at service, Derek Daly had problems of his own. The car's clutch release bearing had failed.
You don't need the sensor. You don't need the sensor. It's working now, isn't it? It's just that the release gun is not, and the release gun is getting stuck. Right, okay. We can give you a push this afternoon, there's no problem. You needn't worry about changing gears, you do the sensor.
But he didn't know about Major's problems. And Major didn't know about Daly's problems. All Major and Paynes could do was sit and wait and hope that the car kept going. While Daly charged on behind them. And despite his problems, he was taking nearly a minute a stage off the luckless duo in car 73. All of these problems meant that Ian Chadwick was gaining on the pair ahead, and he took a fastest stage time over Lockalua. The final stage was Moll's Gap, downhill, and with the spectators taking up every conceivable vantage point, and even some that weren't, Simon Major simply had to keep the car going to the end of the stage to win the first round of the 2000 Ford Puma Championship, which he did, still finishing a superb 18th overall. Derek Daly was catching Major hand over fist at the end, but had to settle for second. Whilst Ian Chadwick and Hugh Giles kept it together to finish third. But at least all 3 cars finished. So the final results then. First, Simon Major and Michael Paynes on 2 hours 46 minutes 16 seconds. Second were Derek Daly and Jake Kelly on 2 hours 52 minutes and 14 seconds. And third was Ian Chadwick and Hugh Giles on 2 hours 53 minutes and 20 seconds. And didn't they deserve a beer at the end of the event? And now it's time for the first in our series of Rally Superstars features. And this week is the Audi Quattro. These are musical features, by the way, so don't expect any commentary. Well, that's all for this programme. Join us next week for the Puma Scottish Rally, where the Ford Pumas will once again be doing battle, and our Rally Superstars feature will be Ari Vatanen. Hello and welcome to the show. On this week's programme, we're going to be taking a look at the Puma Tyre Scottish Rally, which is the second round of the Ford Puma Rally Championship, and our Rally Superstars feature is on that great Finnish driver, Ari Vatanen. In the first programme in the series, we saw Simon Major take victory in Killarney, but it wasn't without its problems, as his car lost all but second gear with 2 stages left. So what was he thinking when it happened?
I don't know if I can say that on camera. I was probably swearing quite a lot. Obviously, we've done a lot of hard work over the 2 days, and the thought of it all slipping away within 2 stages to go was pretty frustrating, really. But now, I mean, the car got to the end, albeit in second gear only, and we still did what we went out there to do, and that was win the Puma round.
Could you get it into neutral at stage start, so were you in second all the time?
I could get it into neutral, but that was it. I couldn't get any other gears, so it was second gear only, I'm afraid.
Do you think you're going to blow the engine up because you're really revving it?
No, I mean, to be honest, I mean the engines are probably run on dynos for God knows how much time, you know, sort of right up to the rev limiter anyway. So I knew the engine could probably take it, although we did run with a heater on full blast just to keep it as cool as possible. But yeah, I was just taking it basically up just below the rev limiter, just to try to protect it as much as I could. But you know, it's so frustrating there. You're stuck in second gear. I think about 50 miles an hour is about the limit. And what else can you do?
Simon Major's victory in Ireland has obviously put him at the lead of the championship, but he's got a bit tougher opposition this time because Ben Bryant's out and he's been driving a Puma for a year. The addition of Ben Bryant to the Puma Challenge was certainly a welcome one. He has probably done more rallies in a Puma than anybody else, and a class win on the 1999 San Remo rally is a testament to his competitiveness. Before the event, we asked him if he had done the Scottish rally before.
I did it last year, yeah.
Do you think you got a bit of an advantage tomorrow?
I doubt it, no. A lot of the stages last year are different to this year, or run this different way around. Last year we were actually doing quite well, and then the second day we punctured the radiator and the sump.
So you're looking forward to it?
Yeah, tremendously, yeah. The recce was good, a lot of fast stuff in there, so I'm looking forward to it.
Having sadly lost Irishman Derek Daly from the field, the organisers of the championship were hoping that Donegal driver Donald Kelly and his brother Fergal would make up for Daly's absence. Although they have plenty of experience on tarmac, their experience of gravel is very limited. only one rally before this. And really, the Scottish is no real place to be learning about driving on gravel, as Donna agreed.
Baptism of fire. It's hard. It's hard to get the confidence in knowing your braking distances, the slide of the car. With tarmac, at this stage, we've done a lot of tarmac, and we know how a car should behave in tarmac. Unfortunately, with this car, the lads here ask me, how does it feel now? I have no benchmark to gauge it off, and it makes it a little bit more difficult. But the times are getting better as the day goes on. So we're happy that although we're not on the pace of the front runners, we're not too far behind.
To say that he was keeping himself entertained in the car would be an understatement, as our in-car pictures show. One thing's for sure, Donna didn't want to be trying too much harder on this event. Having won the first round of the championship and being the current Ford car champion, Simon Major was probably feeling pretty confident at the start of this rally, and it must have been quite a shock to find himself almost 30 seconds down after the first two stages to the flying Ben Bryant. Ian Chadwick was continuing as he has started on the Killarney rally, with problems slowing him down from the very first stage. If Ian has any luck, it's bad. This time it was brake trouble slowing him down, or rather not slowing him down. There was little doubt that Ben Bryant was already proving to be the star of the show. At the end of the Castle Orr stage, we asked him how things were going.
Not too bad.
You look like you're on the pace.
We hit a log at the start of the stage on the right hand side.
Alright.
A mile into it.
Alright.
So I was a bit dubious of what it could handle like. I just forgot about it.
Good luck to do it.
Thanks.
Donna was still finding the limit of the car. But still, almost finding that he was going over it.
We were brief excursion heading towards trees.
Oh yeah. You're still on four wheels?
Yeah, it's still good.
And needless to say, despite all his problems, Ian Chadwick and co-driver Hugh Giles were still smiling.
We're starting to enjoy ourselves now. We had a bit of trouble in the first two stages. We had no brakes. I pulled the handbrake into a hairpin left and the cylinder exploded. So the next stage we just clamped it off, went through the next stage, slowing up, and we're starting to get the hang of it now. Great, we're having great fun, great fun.
Towards the end of the first day, there was a change though, and all of a sudden Simon Major started to go quicker than Ben Bryant. It may have been down to the fact that Bryant was taking it easier, but with Major being almost 50 seconds quicker than his own time through A when he went through the second time, it perhaps said more about Major's driving than it did about Bryant's. So had Bryant's pace surprised Major at the start of the rally?
He did. I mean, he caught us unawares, really, to be honest. Underestimated him. But we've slowly got more confidence in the car, and between myself and Scott, we've only been out in the car sort of once before, and there's a lot of pretty committed corners out there, so it does take a bit of time to get the confidence there. But we're starting to speed up a bit now. Starting to take time out of Ben.
Any thoughts of taking it a bit easier and settling for second, or are you going to go right out for the win?
No, maximum attack. No, all right, yeah, second would be fine because we've had a win, and obviously Ben wasn't present at the first event, but I'm never happy with second. I always want to win anyway. So yeah, we're going to try.
So all of a sudden, Bryant found himself under a bit of pressure, as having picked up over 30 seconds from Major over the first 3 stages, he lost almost all of them again over the last 3 stages of the day. And at the end of the first day, he was a bit more concerned than he might otherwise have been. But anyway, we asked him how things have been going generally.
It's been going really well, actually. I think Simon's car is more suited to the dry than mine is, because as he's dried out, he's made up a lot of time on us.
Have you been taking it a bit more cautiously? I know you had a bit of an incident on stage 4. Have you taken it a bit easier after that?
Yeah, you keep hearing knocks and bangs, and we're just taking a bit, steadier. But yeah, we're still going for it.
Yeah. I mean, you look really quick. You enjoying it?
Yeah, I really am. Yeah, night stages are nice.
And what about tomorrow then? Are you just going to go balls out or take it a bit carefully?
No, I'd like to see it rain tonight. It's starting to rain now, so hopefully it'll drench tomorrow.
You just prefer it wetter?
Yeah, I do, yeah. Like everything.
Whilst we went away to wonder what he meant by that, his co-driver Joanne Lockwood was doing what all good co-drivers do and checking her times against those of the organisers. You broke down on the way back to the final service. What's the problem?
We seem to have run out of petrol. It seems we've got a big hole in the petrol tank and all the petrol is after leaking out.
Is that, have you hit something?
I'd say we hit a fairly big rock. The tank doesn't look in good form at all. It looks fairly knackered, all right.
Was that on the last stage?
Right on the last stage, just by the start. Yeah.
So you're 2 miles from final service. They're going to come back and get you?
Yeah, the boys are going to come back now with some petrol and we'll throw some in it and hopefully get it back now.
This meant that someone from the Protec crew had the enviable task of welding the tank back up again. Rather them than me. After the first few stages this morning, it looked as if Ben Bryant might run away with it, and Simon Major was in for a bit of a shock. But as the day's progressed, Simon's pulled it back, and there's only 10 seconds in it at the end of the day. It's been really close. Let's hope it continues like that tomorrow. And now for our Rally Superstars feature. And this week, it's that great Finnish driver, Ari Vatanen. hope you've enjoyed it so far. Join us after the break for more action from the Puma Tyres Scottish Rally. Hello again. Let's go straight back to the action on the second day of the Puma Tyres Scottish Rally. At the start of the second day, the 4 Pumas once again provided an impressive sight on the stages, with Simon Major still going faster than Ben Bryant, although stage times were to prove irrelevant, as we were to discover later. Rather sadly, Ian Chadwick was suffering with more problems, although this time they were fairly unbelievable. We've only got a couple of hours to spare, but could you tell us about the problems you've had today?
Well, there was this great big cliff, right? I suppose it was about 300 foot high, and we just slid wide on this corner, and the car rolled, I suppose, 10 or 15 times. You know, the boys made a great job of straightening, as you can see. They battered it out, you know, and put a bit of filler on it. And
But you're still having great fun?
And I'm still laughing. No, we... coming out to the first stage this morning, the car seemed to be darting into the left, and when I got out to the start of the stage, I jacked the car up, and there's a ball joint on the bottom of the strut on the bottom of the hub. It actually worn in the hub, so it worn a big hole. It worn the hub at the bottom. So we tightened up as tight as we get it. We just potted through the first 2 stages. We lost a load of time. Oh. The boys changed it at service now. They put a new hub on, a new piece.
So it's going to get all right.
Yeah. I'm praying to God we get to the end of this bloody rally, I tell you. I'm not swearing much.
It's amazing, isn't it? Because, I mean, you have more disasters than all the other cars put together.
I know, I can't understand that. Why is that? Is there somebody out to get me? Or have I just got so much bad luck, I just can't understand it?
It's because you're from Bolton.
Yeah.
Simon Major had a problem which was far more serious. How long you had the problem for?
Well, sort of about
2/3 of the way through that stage, I suppose.
Oh,
Yeah, I felt the gear lever going sloppy. Then all of a sudden I thought,
it is a bit sloppy, that, isn't it?
that's very sloppy now. Yes.
You were already running you'd lost a few minutes on the road.
Yeah, we lost. We had a radiator. Well, it must have had a split from yesterday, and over Parc Ferme overnight, it lost all its water. So when we come out of Parc Ferme, the car started overheating.
Straight away.
Yeah, and we found there was no water in it, so we had to change the radiator. But unfortunately, we lost quite a lot of time. Picked up 1.5 minutes road penalty.
Did you?
Yeah, and then just top that, the clutch started to slip in. So we've been putting up with a slipping clutch for most of the day.
And now the gear lever's fallen.
And now the gear lever,
Did it
yeah,
fall
so
out
we've gone.
completely then?
Well, it just dropped down because
right.
as you can see, like it's a nylon type ball and socket arrangement, but it's got so hot it's melted. And it's just allowed the gear lever to drop down.
You ever seen that?
No, I mean it's lucky really. We were stuck in a gear.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of luck with gears, do I? No. But this time we're stuck in 3rd gear, so you know. Next time we might get stuck in 4th.
Donna and Fergal were settling down nicely now and starting to enjoy it a little bit.
Yeah, getting used to it. You know, it's I suppose it's a learning process. The car, we have a bit of a problem. We broke one of the rear torsion arms and can't get it replaced. We're going to try and replace it this service, and it's allowing the car to slide about a lot. So, but other than that, everything's going fairly well.
With the next round being on Scottish tarmac rather than Scottish gravel, it'll be interesting to see how he goes there. Meanwhile, in service, both Simon Major's and Ian Chadwick's crew had plenty of work to do.
The bolt is gone. The bolt is gone. Get a bolt, that's for the... Hey, Sean?
Ian Chadwick's crew had now discovered an engine mounting bolt missing as well.
Here.
Can we start getting things back down on the floor, please?
It was a fair panic to ensure that both crews got back to the remaining stages with no further time delays.
Back there!
Meanwhile, back at the front, Ben and Joanne were continuing serenely onto a well-deserved and ultimately fairly easy victory. The car having had no problems throughout. Probably because it had already had a year's rallying, during which all the teething problems had been ironed out, leaving Ben just to concentrate on driving the car. Simon Major and co-driver Scott Hodgson managed to keep going, and they were soon on the pace again, even taking the fastest time on the final stage Glen Gap. And of course, Simon still holds the lead in the championship. Donna Kelly's 3rd place was good enough for him, and he and Fergal finished the event with smiles on their faces. And of course, Ian Chadwick and Hugh Giles brought up the rear, but at least they finished. At the end of the rally, we spoke to both Ben Bryant and Simon Major. OK, chaps, it's the end of a good rally. How did you enjoy it?
Very much so, yeah. I enjoyed today more than yesterday. A lot faster today.
What about when Simon sort of dropped back a bit? Did that ease a lot of pressure on you?
No, I just tried to keep flat out as usual, just to keep the concentration up, really.
What do you think you finished overall?
I couldn't tell you, I've not looked. I've just been looking at Simon's times, that's it. Yeah.
That's what you're bothered about.
Yeah.
And how do you feel now? It was obviously disappointing when you had the problem, but you were on the pace again towards the end.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed, you know, to have the problems we've had today. It's been 2 different days altogether. I mean, yesterday I was slow and the car was good. Today I've been quick, but the car's let us down a little bit, you know. But we pushed on a little bit. We started taking time out the bend, and then finally, as you saw, the gear lever come away in our hands. So we thought we'd better calm it down a bit now.
So you're looking forward to the Jim Clark Rally and rivalry being renewed?
Yeah, yeah, very much so.
Okay.
Hope it rains a bit.
Well, thanks for watching. Join us next week when the 3rd round of the championship is the Jim Clark Rally.